Hi, this is Jessica Hallenbeck, your trusted realtor. And I'm going to take a few moments to give you guys a quick market update for the most current information that we have, our April data, and I'm going to compare it to our March data. All right, so I've had a lot of questions and it's been a little while since I have done a video, so it kind of makes sense to do it. All right, so I am going to do a screen share. Let me get that shared and we'll stick this over here. Okay, so, all right, so what we're looking at is the Las Vegas Association of Realtors reports, and we're gonna look at March and April. So I'm gonna scroll these up just a little bit. So we're kind of looking at the most important information here. And what we can clearly see is that in April, we had a number of units sold that decreased. We only sold 1,971 units, and that was a decrease of 31% from last year. Okay, we'll go to last month in just a moment, but clearly we can see with our own two eyes that if you go over here to March data, that we're going to see that we did have a decrease. However, this 2758 was a small increase from a year ago. So we were on a roll. Things were going up, and we could also see that in the median home price. In March, we hit an all-time high of $319,000 as the median home price, which is pretty awesome. However, we dropped just a tiny bit. So we'll see a small increase down to $310,000. I'll explain why some of that happened, but we'll get to that shortly. Also, number of listings, new listings decreased. So this number was down from the previous year, 41%. So this is not normal to have this few listings in April. April is usually a pretty big month. And number of units available, we had a lower supply, and we actually had a small increase from March. However, it's still down and a low effective availability. So the effective availability basically means that if we were to sell out the houses as fast as we could, the supply would last about 2.1 months when we were in March, and now we've got about 3.1 months. This data right here is exactly what causes buyer and seller markets. When these numbers get closer to 6 months, it starts to switch over to a buyer's market. So even though we're in the midst of this shutdown, we are still seeing things feel like a seller's market. There's not as much negotiation on the price. There is some, depends, everything depends. However, in those competitive price ranges, the comps are still supporting those prices. So, and I would say that'd be around this price and lower. Okay, so let's go down and look at a few other numbers here. This is just the same information, just more of it. Okay, so we'll do this. And this here compares the growth from February, so the month prior. Okay, so 1 month difference and then a year's difference. So we were, again, positive, 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 positive. We were going up in every category. And now we had a complete shutdown. And I'll show you another graph here. Let me pull this over. Okay. This here is the showing time graph that shows the activity of showings. Doesn't represent all showings, but it is a snapshot of what was going on. So the blue line is a year ago, the average, and the orange line, and we had the shutdown, and then whoop, we just fell off the map. So that really explains why we had this decrease. Well, if you watch this activity, you will see that it is going back up. And we're now in phase 1. So this makes sense, okay? All right, and then let's go look at a few more data points here. All right, so each little ticker kind of represents a month there, and you'll just see that we had some increases in that month of March before this whole shutdown thing, and then now we've had negatives, which again makes sense. So you can see that on a graph here. And same thing with price. Actually, let's look at price for just a second. So the last several years have just been an appreciation. I mean, and some years had some spikes, like in 2016 did, 2018, and we've kind of been a little bit more flat last year, but we were seeing a pretty big increase and hitting some all-time highs. And if you come over here and look on, April, we see that dip, that little bit of dip from the disruption of showings and sales, obviously. All right, and then number of new listings obviously decreased. Availability of units is, again, went up because less people decided to sell their home. It's normal to have a lot of activity in the spring months, and many people just put their plans on hold. And worse, they obviously were not able to make a move because of unemployment or being laid off, or any of those things that are going to prevent them from getting employment verification. So there is a small, probably about a third of the buyer pool that is disrupted and not in a position to make a real estate transaction that maybe would have. However, there still are transactions. We still saw several closings that happened in the month of the full shutdown. All right, let's just look at a few more things here. We're not going to go into condos. They mirror single family residents, but the point of me showing you the market data is to help you get an idea of what's going on and why we're seeing the changes in the numbers. And when you're asking questions, are we going to see this really big disruption in real estate values? And we did see a small disruption, but significant, no, not necessarily. 310 for the median home price was the same as February. So it really wasn't that big of a disruption by all means. We are going to continue to watch things. I think if we continue to look at the data and see things and watch the activity of the market, that's going to help us understand what's really going to happen. No one has a crystal ball. We cannot predict the future, but we can analyze how things are going. So if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. I am always here for you. Many of you know that, and I will answer any question that I possibly can. All right, you guys have a great day, and thank you for your time. Oh, by the way, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am trying to grow this. All right, have a good one.